Good day. This is Evelyn Ackah from Ackah Business Immigration Law and the Ask Canada Immigration Lawyer podcast. I have the pleasure today of introducing and welcoming my dear friend and business colleague, Martine Boucher, who is the co-founder and managing partner of Simplex Legal. And they are a virtual law firm all across Canada, focused on providing corporate employment and other legal services to clients across Canada. Welcome, Martine. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing great, Evelyn. It is so nice to be here with you today. So happy that you invited me.
Well, my goodness, I know how busy you are, and I really appreciate that you made time. I've obviously been following your career since we became friends and colleagues, and I just thought you had a wonderful story to share about Simplex Legal. So before we get into your journey, tell me why you started Simplex Legal in 2011, right
Oh,
after, just around the time I started my firm. Yeah.
yeah, no, at the time where nobody knew how to spell Zoom, we were still already we were already thinking of it. It's funny, like it all weaves into my personal story. So I worked for a big law firm for a period of time. Then I went in-house, right? And after my time as in-house at GE Capital, I was kind of pausing and thinking like, so what's next for me? Where do I want to go? What's exciting? And I met at the time my business partner, who then became also my personal partner. But we were discussing some needs in the marketplace and just saw an opportunity where there were people like me who wanted more flexibility in their lives, that were talented lawyers, but looking for a home, like a place they would belong and they could offer really quality services, but on their own terms.
Mhm.
And that was the germ of the idea, combined with Jeff saying, like, we need in-house counsel. Everybody should have a great in-house counsel to work with them, because like that's invaluable when you get the right support. And businesses were struggling and getting that practical advice, but on flexible terms. So we married the two, and that was the idea of Simplex.
You married the two and then you got married. No, one or the other happens first. So tell me, what makes Simplex Legal different from another law firm or a national law firm? How many people do you have currently?
We are at the 25 professionals right now, Mark, plus everybody supporting this this uh, this journey. So we've got about 35 people working with us on different terms, right? Like some
Mhm.
people are full time, some people are part time, flexible schedules. So, but like yeah, it's grown quite a bit since the early days where me and my friend Erica started in my on my kitchen table doing a few files here and there, and the idea was on a napkin. It's kind of cool to see that. But where we're different, that's such a great question. I think it reflects back on our values and what we really believe in and how we live that on the everyday. I'd
Mhm.
say we're very collaborative. It was a key aspect to me that the team performs as a team, that we would be able to support each other. It's not a mercenary culture.
Good.
So we are collaborative amongst ourselves, with our clients. So that makes a huge difference. We're fun. We like to have fun and just enjoy life. So there's a great work-life balance that is thrown in our in the mix. Anti-studgy. We really believe that you can deliver excellent services even though you're not in a big tower downtown, whatever
Mhm.
city in Canada. That great ideas come from anywhere. And I think the pandemic has reinforced that messaging in a very strong way. And then, we just have amazing people working with us. So
Great.
that's who we are. And then we deliver our services really we're leveraging technology in such a big way. We live in a world of abundance of everything, right? Like we've got technology, we've got processes, so we're super efficient in the way we do it. That's the
That's so
secret
great.
recipe right there.
It sounds like a secret recipe for success. That's so exciting. One of the questions I had for you is around your practice areas. Can you give me an overview? Because I don't think I did it justice. You're not just business lawyers. What kind of practice areas do you provide support to corporations and clients and individuals?
You know, we do everything from the boring operational support, like starting with, you know, supply agreements that every businesses need to run their business, all the way to more savvy financing agreements, regulatory compliance, helping with your with a client's ESG program. Like, we really do a full range of business services.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd say the line we draw is litigation. Like, we're not litigators. We don't. So we're really like a true solicitor in every sense of the term. And whenever a file is ready for litigation, then we help our client. We will have manage, organize the file, and pass it over to people that are doing it best.
Mm-hmm.
In a similar fashion, I think sometimes there are some expertise out there that a few people have in Canada, and that's probably part of some, you know, of what our clients really love about us is that we will raise our hand. As much as we're low overhead, we offer great fees and like creative arrangements. There are times where you just need the expert, and that's where I met you. You know, there are times where it's just the right thing to do, and instead of learning it ourselves, like, you just go and see the people that do this and know it inside out, and know the people to call in and so on. So we're not afraid of just sometimes telling a client, you know what, we could learn this, but it would be more efficient to just seek out the best expertise that there is to support you in that part of the journey.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. We've definitely had opportunities to get referrals from your team, and if we can help, great. But it's very much, I think, being able to, for you and your team to focus on what you do best is what we do to you here at Ackah Law, exactly the same. One of the things I think has been interesting about your journey is lawyer, big firm, in-house, big company, Simplex. How have you had to learn to be a business leader, an entrepreneur? Because that's not what they teach us in law school. And as you know, even me, of 10 years on, every day is different. I'm learning every day. I'm trying to improve. It's not easy. How have you become an entrepreneur? And what do you think it takes to be successful? I need the magic here.
What a great question. You and I sometimes share a glass of wine and discuss this topic in more depth. But I think it takes a lot of courage and naivety combined in a nice packaging. I often joke and say that if anybody would have told me how much efforts and dedication would have to be overcome and just packaged to make Simplex happen, I would have laughed and I would have been like, okay, see you another day. But it's just not how it happens, right? Like, you don't become a business person overnight. Like, this is, I think it's a lifetime progress that you make. You start small. And, you know, I'm a super big fan of Louise Penny. That's probably something we've not talked about, but the author Louise Penny and her main character, Inspector Gamache, that I fell in love with a fictional character, but you know, he in the books, like, Inspector Gamache often talks about the path to wisdom as being able to say those four things: I don't know, I need help, I'm sorry, and I was wrong. And that's really stayed with me all the way through. I've thought about it like being a business person has made me humble in so many ways. You can have like amazing successes, and then the following day you stumble on obstacles that you wonder how you're going to overcome that obstacle, and then you just go at it. And I'd say the best thing that I've ever done is not doing it alone. So I have my partner in life, Jeff, who's a business guy. Then I reached out, like, I have our group of women leading in law firms that I rely on. I'm part of Strategic Coach. You know, I've got a different number of communities that I can tap in and discuss the struggles, celebrate successes, and that's made it. And just getting a super amazing team to work with me, like just understanding you cannot do it alone. And that's so foreign to lawyers. Like, we're so trained to be individual contributors. Like, I don't care what they say about the university experience. Like, it's a lot about get into your office, sit down, do this work,
Mhm.
deliver, move on. Being in business is totally the opposite. Like you will never succeed alone. Like
That's
you
right.
can't succeed alone. So
Mhm.
you need to become a team player if you are not already. And you need to, well, choose your tribe,
Yeah.
listen,
Yeah.
listen, listen, and listen some more. And don't forget to have some fun. I think that would be like my,
Yeah.
my thinking over the last couple of years.
Oh, I think it's so great. You talk about different communities. And I mean, obviously, like you, 10 years on, 11 years on, it's become about finding all those communities for support, because there's one thing about being a leader of a business is, it's quite lonely. And even though you've got Jeff, who's your business partner and life partner, I also feel like it's just a lonely experience, and you can't talk about everything with everybody. And I think it's finding those places where you can discuss. Like I have my tech group, have my how to manage a small law firm group. I've got lots of other supports. I've got our group with women that we meet and just talk about life and practice and look for tips on how to improve. I think the biggest thing I've learned is this is
Mm.
constant learning and looking for resources to support yourself, because it is not a quick sprint. It is a long marathon. You know what I mean? Like, and it is an up and down thing. How has COVID affected your business? Have you grown or have you shrunk? I'm so interested to see how everybody has moved through it, because you were already virtual to begin with.
Yeah, we were virtual by design. So
Yeah.
compared to a lot of people who had to learn how to become digital and virtual, like we were up and running. Um, we were made for this.
Mhm.
It feels strange at times to say it because I know a lot of people have struggled, like personally, business wise, and so on. But for Simplex, it has accelerated our growth by I don't know how many years. I'm very curious to see down the road, um, looking back, how much growth we've had because of COVID. This has been the biggest legitimization of our business model. Like
Mhm.
2 years ago, I still had like potential clients saying like, well, is there anything wrong with your lawyers? Like, why would anybody want to work part-time remotely? Like, people were really challenging the assumptions we had made. And I'm like, we're attracting amazing talent. There are people out there who need or want something different. But trying to convince, like when you're at the beginning of a wave, it's really hard. It's amazing that question doesn't come out very often since COVID. Like, can you work from home? Can your lawyer really
Of course.
support us at distance? Like, this is like behind us, so we can really get into business. So it's been really good
Mhm.
on that
Good.
front. On the other end, like our team members who were all set up to work from home were not necessarily set up to have like the little ones running around and having to focus them in front of a screen because they have like to do studies from home or, taking care of aging parents and suddenly not having any more home care. Like there's
Mhm.
a host of personal issues that have popped to the surface that were real and could really bring some struggles to the team, but we raised up as a team. Everybody was there for each other, and I think we did quite well. Uh,
Great.
where worry is for the likes of you and me. Um, I don't know if you think about that from time to time. Like I've been reading a number of articles saying, there are people that will feel the effect after COVID. Like,
After. Yeah.
we've been running on adrenaline, and I think business people, like the business leaders in our
Mhm.
communities, we are part of that. Um, we did not share a lot about our struggles. We were there first to support our clients, our
Yep.
team, making sure money keeps coming in so that you can make payroll. All these things that are very real when you're in business. I wonder how many of us will have like a
Yep.
dip in
I
a few
feel,
months.
yeah, I think you're right. I mean, I think already we're all getting into our second shots or vaccinations, and I just know for me, I'm tired. It's been a long 18 months, and every day is just a grind right now. And the joy of it is helping the clients, but it definitely takes a toll. And as you know, we keep encouraging each other to meditate and exercise and drink water and all those good things. But I think we're going to need a very long vacation soon before the end, because I think people don't always think about the mental health or the physical health of the leader. It's everybody else is being taken care of. So yeah, you're right.
You talked earlier about the marathon. Like I feel the last 18 months, yeah, it's a marathon, but we've been running it on a sprint pace.
Yes.
At some point, we need to rest. And as much as I was before COVID quite disciplined about taking time off, having real free days for myself and unplugging at night, I felt that those boundaries they have eroded during
Yes.
COVID. Like people were so, I don't know if they were bored, they were worried, like they were so overconnected that it's funny. I was so good at it and it just feels it's crumbled. So I need to go back myself and
Mhm.
really reestablish some priorities as we are emerging and making time to just do nothing.
And to garden or to do the things you love to do, you know. And I feel the same. I think it will be an interesting next part of the year, the next half of the year, to see how things unfold. Um, and really looking at self-care, because at the end of the day, you and Jeff, for instance, you really are the business, and you start thinking about the importance of health and the importance of, if something happened to you or to me, what does that mean for everybody else, right? And so I think you start thinking about that legacy and the planning around it and modeling self-care for sure, the best way you can, right? Tell me a little bit about where your people are. I'm really interested, Martine, like just give me an overview, like where are they? Are they in one province more than another? I think people would love to know, like obviously it's all virtual, doesn't really matter, but are they all in Quebec, obviously? Or, you know, I know that's not the case, but where are they all?
That's good question. Like we're coast to coast now. We've got
Wow.
that got exciting. This year we added a new team member in Nova Scotia. And we've got on the other side of the country, we've got some people in BC and Vancouver and Kelowna.
Great.
We've got obviously Calgary, people in Fernie,
Mhm.
like we've got people in Ottawa, Toronto, Montreal.
Mm.
And we've got some people that have so much, their lives are so interesting. Like, one of our lawyers does horseback riding, like she competes
Wow.
and so during wintertime she'll be in Florida continuing her training, working in the mornings and exercising and doing her training in the afternoon. So we allow
Hmm.
people to have different lives, to really be able to um, be a more complete person. So some other
Yeah.
people are writing books and like are authors in their own rights outside.
Wow.
Like I just find, this is better than what I imagined. I really thought we would offer great opportunities, but I never realized that it would be that good for some of them. Like,
Hmm.
and
And where
flexibility.
are you finding great people? Because obviously, I mean, you're attracting great people. How are you looking or finding those people that have that, obviously the core knowledge and the expertise and that high level of, you know, big law knowledge, that are ready to make that transition to something more flexible? Are you hiring immigration lawyers? Because I'm joining. I'm done.
Well, I've got you right now, but like, we should talk for sure. I'd say, it's a lot the power of the network. People find us.
Mhm.
I really believe that when people, like when you're looking, you're ready for a lesson, like, the teacher shows up.
Yes,
There's almost that. I feel that a lot of people are finding us,
that's
a lot
great.
of people like will voice to their immediate networks, like, I'm not happy, this is what I'm looking for, and so on. And then somebody else will say, well, have you ever paid attention? Like these guys are very active on LinkedIn. So we publish a lot on LinkedIn and we're very much about like we're innovative, we're
Yes.
disruptive, we're offering something. So our voice is very clear that we want somebody else there, right? Like
Mhm.
somebody that
Yep.
wants something different.
Yep.
And even on our application form, like I've got like, why Simplex? And
Mhm.
I can give a hint to everybody, just saying because I'm looking for something different doesn't quite cut it. Like it's like we
That's
spend
right.
a lot of time talking about who we are, our vision, and how we are and how we think. Just
Mhm.
give me something here, right? Like it's like you want to join us, just tell me what are you going to bring? Because it's not about a fit. I think it's what are you going to bring that will make us bigger and better? Right?
Yes.
Like, I don't want to
Yes.
fit. I don't want somebody that's like me. Like, there's already enough of
Yep.
me, it's just, I need more other people
Other
that think
people.
differently, that
Yeah.
share the values, but
Yeah.
think differently.
Yeah.
So they find us. It's most
Great.
of the time they find us. Our team is really good at talking to their own friends and colleagues and just telling their stories, saying this is what I do, and other people are like looking, what? This option
Mm.
exists? Like, there's still that kind of, that's not possible, right? Like, can I really be part of something without like key performance indicators like minimum
Yeah.
billable hours?
Oh,
So it's we've set it up, we're different, we're
yeah,
niche, like it's not for everybody,
for
but when
sure.
it fits so well.
Oh, that
That's
sounds
good.
incredible. Sounds like you really worked hard on the culture, the values, the vision. Those things seem to be, those are things I struggle with still, even because you're always reviewing and revising and different people change the dynamics. And so I'm really interested in how you've developed that. One thing I really want to chat about is you come from Quebec and you come to Calgary. I was in Vancouver, then Toronto on Bay Street, and then to Calgary. I mean, let's talk about the craziness of the culture. How has it been for you? Obviously, you're francophone, and it's a different world. How was it?
Yeah, when I talked earlier about business and needing courage and naivety, that applies also to moving across the country. Um, I
Gosh,
came here because my employer at the time, General Electric,
yeah.
the capital division, the financing division was growing really quickly, and
Mm-hmm.
we were providing support from Montreal. That's where the head office was, and it was starting to be really a challenge to do it remotely with the growth.
Mm-hmm.
So I agreed to come to Calgary for what was supposed to be 12 to 18 months, support the team, identify somebody who could take over, and then come back to Montreal.
Mm-hmm.
Well, little did I know, like we hit the crash 2008, started like, reversing. Growth was not so exciting anymore for GE Capital. Things were changing quickly. So I ended up leaving GE in 2009,
Mm-hmm.
just taking a big step back. And I was still in Calgary thinking, do I go back to Montreal? Do I stay in Calgary? Like, I felt I had not completed my journey around Calgary. So I
Yeah.
wanted to stay, but then all the challenges, like culturally, it's been great. Like, I know that people from Montreal sometimes will roll their eyes on Calgary, but I fell in love with Calgary.
Mm-hmm.
I love the province. I love the sense of entrepreneurship that
Yes.
is around. There's a real can-do attitude that I really love. The mountains are pretty.
Mm-hmm.
Then I met my better
Of course.
half, right?
Yeah.
And then the rest is history. But
Yeah.
the fun fact that I don't know if you know that, but when I moved to Calgary, I could barely speak English. I could read it and write it, but I just like,
Really?
so I saw this as my opportunity to have my own immersion program, which has worked because like we're here talking
Oh
and
my God, I had no
like it was,
idea. Really?
yeah, I could speak like English like a tourist would, like, I could order my
Like my
food and
French.
get a hotel, and but you know what I'm saying? It's a
Yeah.
different thing to be a
Wow.
lawyer and
Yes, it
to
is.
argue and make your point. And the first year was a real challenge.
Must
I,
have
I just
been.
wanted to tell people I'm not stupid. I'm just struggling with the language, but
Yeah.
don't discount me. And I think it's made me a better person. I have so much more respect for people that come in with different accents,
Hmm.
different cultures. The fact that we're not exactly the same is a good thing.
I
And you
agree.
shouldn't discount other people because they're not expressing themselves the same way. So
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, obviously, as an immigration lawyer, we are so used to hearing every accent imaginable. And I think it creates you need to have empathy and you need to have patience and you need to be okay to say, sorry, I missed that. Could you please? We want to make sure we understand everything you've said and give people respect, as you know, because you speak differently or have a different accent or may struggle, like as my French is not nearly as good as your English. I think I really appreciate when people try. And I think when we try to listen and take some more time, it really creates that connection with the clients that we have from all over the world. So, you know, Yeah, I think you're totally right. I mean, I never thought I'd be in Calgary. I'm a Vancouver girl who went to Bay Street and thought I would stay in Toronto. I was there for 12 years, and the opportunity, like you, was to move here with my large firm as a partner and be closer to my family. And I have to say, I'm really grateful because I don't think I would have my law firm. I wouldn't have a business on my own if I was in Toronto. Like, I just feel like it's nice to be a big fish in a small pond, or to be able to really bring the innovation that I wouldn't have been able to do, I don't think, in Toronto or Vancouver. So there's a real, as you say, entrepreneurial spirit here. And especially for women, like, I feel like there are a lot of great women business owners here that have mentored me or that I'm exposed to that I may not have known or met because it seemed very male dominated when I was in Toronto. What advice would you give now, Martine, as we're starting to wrap up around to women in, new lawyers or business owners or entrepreneurs that are thinking about opportunities now in their careers, to help them stay in the practice? Because, as you know, women and women of color, and probably even francophone women of color, like the whole gamut, are leaving law still. Even though we are the majority in law school, we're just losing the momentum when we get to certain levels in our career. How can we work on mentoring, or what advice do you have that's going to work? I mean, I think what you've done with Simplex Legal, you and Jeff, is fabulous because it creates that flexibility that so many women are looking for, whether you have children or not, whether you have a dog. I was talking to a client yesterday who said, my cat is so needy. And it's like, it's not the child, it's the cat. And everybody has different priorities. So I'm trying to figure out how to create the culture or to advise younger lawyers that we get asked all the time. We mentor, whether they're law students or new grads. How can we keep them moving forward and not just tapping out?
Yeah, it's a great question. I spend a lot of time thinking about that as well. I wish somebody would have told me earlier the importance of connections. Connecting, like I always thought of business development as something a little bit dirty and, almost like, I'm a car salesman, like, and it's terrible to say that, but
Mhm.
I had that vision that selling was like that kind of, hardcore. And I realized that connections are everything. It's everything. If you're building a business, like most of my really big clients today, are connections I built like 20 years ago. There are
Wow.
people that I helped and supported at a time where I didn't even realize I was doing something that meant so much to them. But
Hmm.
they remembered
Yes.
and certainly found me down the road. Same thing with a lot of the initial lawyers that joined me are people like that were connected to me. So those connections follow you through, and you should be really trying to make deep connections with people that you share the same values. Those are the people that will help you find a job, will help you
Mhm.
find the next opportunity, will help you build your business. So connecting, I think, on a very real personal level
Yes.
makes a huge difference. And I was good at that. But if somebody would have told me, just keep doing that, it's going to work out on the long run, that would have been really great. I think that's one. Two is giving them hope. There is a world of opportunities. The legal industry is changing in such a big way. Opportunities are starting to pour.
Mhm.
You have to think differently. You have to look at things. If you want a traditional path, we all know what these paths are, and you can find it and just get yourself good mentors within your organization and find your way.
Mhm.
That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about people that feel that they don't belong in those traditional paths, and there's more and more. And I think women were the first one to realize it. Women of color, like there's so
Mhm.
many. Like as soon as you're not part of the main core, that you don't look and behave the same way, it started
Mhm.
to be a little bit of an issue. And my innovative mindset was disturbing to some people, and I was vocal about my ideas. And but I'm glad I didn't shut up. But I'm
Yeah.
so very grateful that I paused and started looking more and more for people that would be part of my tribe, that had those same hopes, that were thinking
Mhm.
about the future the same way. I think ultimately it's your mindset that makes the difference, and
Mhm.
keeping your mindset positive, thinking in terms of like long term, and this is not a short ride, right? Like
Exactly.
this is like go and get what you can out of a job. Like if you're out of school and you've got the next 2 years, like what can you learn? Just
Mhm.
make it part of building skills. Like what skill can you build? What
Yep.
part of you gets excited so that you discover over time? It took me a long time to know what is my unique ability.
Mm.
What makes Martine Martine?
Yep.
And ironically, that was factory installed. What makes Martine Martine? I've been that way forever, but it took me a while to understand it and really see what is it that I bring to the table. And that's because of all these experiences I've collected down the road and those conversations I've had with great people that have made me
Mhm.
realize these are my strengths. These are not my strengths, but there are other people that have
Exactly.
those strengths, and that's where collaboration fits in. I think it all comes
Wow.
together, but we need to be there. We need to tell them that there's hope, that it's not a linear process. It's not
Yes.
going to go here and then here and then here. The
You go
patience,
back
like mine
sometimes.
looks more like
Me
this
too.
weird.
Mine too. Oh my goodness. I needed this conversation. It's been a tough week and you're so motivating. Every time I speak to you, Martine, I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna go and rule the world like Martine. So I
Oh my
really
God.
appreciate it. Let me just wrap up with tell me so that we can share on the podcast, who are your ideal clients for Simplex Legal? So that when they listen, we put this on social media, they'll know that, okay, this is something that we might be a good fit. Is there a certain industry? Is there a certain size of business? What are your ideal corporate clients that would fit Simplex's model?
Great question. I think people that share our values would be awesome. If you're looking for a studgy lawyer, probably not at the right door. Have some fun. You want to manage legal risk, that you think that legal is more something that you manage. We help small businesses as much as like blue chips. So we can really adjust our offer to our clients. But we want clients that are willing to do things a little bit differently and willing to embrace a different delivery system that
Mhm.
is more efficient, which allows us to reduce our costs. So people are open to manage risk differently, want talented lawyers, but not looking for the traditional approach, then yeah, come and knock at our door.
Perfect. I will send them your way. Thank you so much, Martine. You were fabulous. And I'm so grateful you're able to make time. I know how busy you are to share your journey and your story. And I have to say, I love your website. So people should go check out Simplex Legal website. My marketing consultant was like, love the website. Different colors. It's a different look. And it just tells you already, this is a different firm, right? This is a different business.
That's one.
So
I'll pass on the message to Jim
yes.
because that was really his signature, and it captures well our
Loves it.
presence.
Loved it. I love it
Thank you
too.
so much,
And
Evelyn.
I'm very grateful to you for your friendship and your support and our entrepreneurial journey. It keeps me motivated when I need it on certain days. And I'm really very, very proud of you and what you've built. And I hope that everybody will search out Simplex Legal and see if it's a fit for them.
Oh,
Thank you.
Evelyn, you're so generous. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure talking to you today.
Thanks.
Thanks.